Hey everyone, and welcome to another Training Thursday. I thought I would check in with you guys and share an amazing tip and something that I noticed that it works for anybody, from my son to my millionaire friends. There's a mindset trick that happens when we actually want something, and instead of our mind instantly going towards, oh, I just wish I could have that, but blah, 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 blah. Or I just wish I could, but blah, 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 blah. Oh, that'd be nice, but I can't afford it. Or, gee, there's a mindset that happens when we go into a nice little loop about that. And I figured out a trick that goes with it that I use, but I noticed it because a lot of my millionaire friends use this trick. And I didn't realize until I started to see the pattern of whenever they really want something, there's this thing that they do that changes everything. And I started using it way back in my my clinic days at Inspirational Health, when I used to have these, and I feel like a dinosaur now, that I used to have supplier accounts that I used to have to pay. Now that we have Vitally and Araya and all these other wonderful programs that we can order online, it changes a lot not having a whole bunch of stock. But I had a huge dispensary at the time. And so we were thousands and thousands of dollars every month that I had to magically make appear to be able to pay these supplier bills. And we had, 2 to 4 weeks to pay these supplier bills, or things would happen. And we don't want to get cut off from our suppliers, particularly as a practitioner, because that's our remedies. That's the things that we're trying to help people with. So it started way back then, and now this same kind of trick helps me go overseas on holidays. It also helps me buy anything that I'd like. It helped me buy this jacket. It helps my son. My son uses this trick to be able to buy his computer games, and it also helped my friend Denise Duffield Thomas buy her rose farm. So hello to Michelle, Moira, Tessa, Zoe, and anybody else who is watching who is too afraid to say hello in the background, or anyone who's watching the replay. So hopefully this will be beneficial to you, particularly if you're trying to think about something that you'd like to pay for. So put a like button in if you have in recent weeks thought, I'd really love that thing, but I don't have enough money for that. I'd really love that thing, but it's not in the budget. I really love that thing, but there's a big but going on there, right? Oh, hey, Kirsten. Hey, Margie, nice to see you. So if you've had a moment like that recently, it's very likely one of the biggest buts that we have is around money. The second biggest but is around time. The third biggest but is around energy, the amount of energy it takes. But the big one around money is because often we will see the money as a cost. And the money itself isn't necessarily the problem. The beauty of, and I think the benefit of running your own business that you don't realize until later on, is we have an infinite capability of making more money. We have an infinitesimal amount of capability to see and create value for our clients in all sorts of ways that we haven't even considered yet. And so it's not actually about the money. It's how are you going to create that much value that somebody's going to give you that money in return. Hey, Tessa. Hey, Leanne. Hey, Amy. Awesome. Yeah. So this is the thing, right? Back in the day, right at the beginning of my practice, I had a $1,200 supplier bill, and I was about to get cut off because I hadn't paid it. And to be able to go right ahead, my dog is carrying on in the background, by the way, that's what you might be hearing. To be able to, I had to first think, oh, I'm going to manifest this out of nowhere. Manifesting is nice and it's lovely to set an intention, but the action you take is entirely different. And the action you take is what ends up getting you the result that you want. And so set out the intention, I'll have my $1,200. And then I thought, how can I create this $1,200 worth of value with the business that I have? And so this is the thing. If you've got your initial consultations at $120, how many people do I need to help to pay for this bill? That's purely the question that replaces how much is this going to cost. All right, so without how much is this going to cost, we're going to just replace it with how many people do I need to help? So if it's an initial consultation, I've got $1,200 worth of bills and my initial consults are $120. How many people do I need to help? Now, it's not rocket science, people. It's 10. I need to find 10 people in 4 weeks and I need to help them. So that's 2.5 people a week that I need to go out and I need to talk to. I need to find referral partners for. I need to offer my services to. And then I can pay the bill. Now, some of you are going, oh my gosh, 10, where would I get 10 from? Versus the people that you're already seeing. So again, I was charging $70 for my follow-ups at the time. And so that meant I needed 18 people to come and see. So all I needed to do was 4 people a week who I'd already seen. So I sent out an email and I got 2 people a week for the next 4 weeks because the email reminded them that I was still there and I still cared and there was an opportunity for them to come back in for their follow-up. So half of it was done. Now, so we got 10 people for an initial or 18 people for a follow-up that I need to help. Or I was also running workshops at the time. Now, the workshops were $40 each. So it's 30 people I needed to fill the workshop by the end of the month and I would have my supplier bill done. Or I was also creating programs. And this is exactly how I created my first program. I had a big bill that I had to pay. And what I needed to do was find out how could I create $1,200 worth of value and give it to somebody over a certain period of time. So what I did was I knew that over 12 weeks, I could really change someone's health from being in probably about stage 2 adrenal fatigue to getting them a result in 12 weeks. And so what I did was I put my initial consultations and then I put 3 follow-ups and then I gave them phone calls and other bits and pieces along the way. And I said, it's $1,200. That was it. And I sold one right there and then. Straight away, somebody came in for an initial consultation. I told them about the value of it. I told them I'd helped other people before. And then we booked them in for their consultations and they paid it straight up. There's your $1,200 helping one person. Now, it gets even better. So instead of thinking about what's this going to cost, I can't afford it, think of how many people do I need to help to afford it. And then the last one is, I actually have been running retreats for about 7 years. And the first couple of retreats, to be able to pay for the space of the retreat, you have to think about how many people can you help by booking the retreat space, right? Instead of how much is it going to cost to book the retreat space, how many people can I help? And so here I was going $1,200. It's a half a person on a retreat. My retreats were around about the $3,000 mark. So asking for a deposit of $1,200 for the retreat, all of a sudden that bill is sorted and I have helped people. So this is the really important thing, right? Carla's saying, me and my epic secret holiday. This is the interesting thing, right? Carla uses this all the time. I get to know the insiders' secrets. And I always use this for my holidays as well. Want to take a family holiday or want to make money for a certain period of time, all you have to do is think not about the cost. You want to think about how many people can I help? And then all of a sudden it becomes really clear. So my son, he makes graphic design, what are they called? Instagram posts. So he does it for a whole bunch of entrepreneurs I know. And he does it at $2 per post. He sets them up on Canva and PicMonkey and uses everybody's colors and then gives people 30 of them for $60. So he doesn't think, oh, that's going to cost me $60. He goes, okay, there's the game I want. The game I want is going to cost me 1 monthly client. So if I want a new game every month, that means I need to find somebody to go and make 30 Instagram posts for. That's all he does. He's 10 years old. You guys can use this too. Now, same thing for this jacket. This jacket was $160. That is half of my consultation fee for a local person who needed my help for getting something, the ball rolling on something. And so all I needed to do was spend half an hour, and I got my jacket that I needed to take to a conference I was going over to in Canada last week. And I helped somebody for this jacket. I didn't think about how much money the jacket was going to cost. I instantly thought, how many people can I help? How can I help them? Now, if it becomes that idea of, oh, how could I possibly get 30 people to my workshop event? This is the thing, right? If you really want something, if you really want your family holiday, if you really want your ticket to NatX, if you really want your your supplier bills, if you really want to stay open in business because you've got these bills or something to pay for, you make it happen. There's no excuses in the meantime to be able to figure that stuff out. So you go out and you talk to people, and you go out and you find out how to write the email. You go out and you find ways and means to actually get it done. And then at the end, you've got the thing done by creating value and helping people. So this is the thing. We just came back from speaking to from speaking to a financial planner. This is a new phase that we're going into, my hubby and I, because we both have businesses together. And we were literally walking across the road, and he said, so did you hear those fees? I said, yeah, I heard the fees. He goes, well, I just thought that's one of my daily workshops. And, that's only 2 spots on the retreat, and that's this and that's that. And we weren't thinking about how much the fees are. We were thinking, how many people could we help for that? How could we help them? What are the innovative ways that we could help people to be able to pay for the thing that we really, really want? And then I said, I'm just about to do a training on that. I thought about it on Monday, and now I'm in the hub doing the training on it. So this is the thing, right? If it's good enough for my 10-year-old, if it's good enough for my friend to buy a rose farm, if it's good enough for me to be able to pay for tickets for Awesomeness Fest was another example. If it's for me to keep my doors open and pay supplier bills, it's good enough for you for whatever it actually is that you're creating right now. If you are in business and if you're in practice, I promise you, you have the opportunity to create more value in more people's lives. And if you really want this thing, you do what it takes to be able to create more value in other people's lives. So if all you have at the moment is one-on-one consultations, my invitation to you is to create a program, a package of consultations and a package of things where you are able to provide that value over a long period of time for somebody, and then literally offer it to them. Some people will say no, sure, but the more people that say no, it'll get you closer to a yes. So hopefully this has been beneficial to you. So let me just catch up with people here. Awesome. Yeah, so Kirsten, this is the thing, right? How did you word your email to not sound desperate? The thing about that is, don't be desperate. Are you desperate for the money? Which is a very different thing to creating value for people. And if you come at it from the intention that you're there, you've got 10 spots available. That's it. I've got 10 spots available before the end of the month. And this is the bonus. You get this, I don't know, you get a flower essence with it. You get a webinar all about something else. You get this checklist that I've already got. You get this special quiz that's already on one of your supplier website pages or something. So I'm creating value for you, and I'm inviting you to it. It's not, I need to pay for my ticket for such and such, and I really need the money, and it's that's a very different experience to how can I help you? This is the way I can help you at the moment. This is what it looks like. Here is an initial consultation, or here's a follow-up consultation. You get this bonus this week. I've only got this many spots for it, and that's it. It's an offering. And again, if you aren't used to doing it that way, or you'd like to start to do things innovatively and creatively, you might want to think about another way of doing it, like a workshop or a webinar or a retreat. So I also know some of my mentees actually created retreats because they needed large chunks of money to do things, and retreats were on their radar. They were thinking about doing it in the future, But then they needed a big chunk of money to keep their supplier bills out, to make sure that their kids could go to uni or off to school. And so instead they created the retreat, pulled it forward a little bit quicker so that they were then able to generate that profit and be able to pay for their bills and do the things that they really loved. So Michelle, always beneficial listening and reframing stuff. Yeah, the biggest thing around this is a reframe. So if we've got a frame that things cost money, everything costs too much, that's a really hard, and we talk about this in the Naturepreneur Journey, a really hard frame. Framing is a psychology-based term that essentially makes you look through the lens of something that is really stuck. And if you're seeing a red frame around things costing too much, then you're going to start to look at every single thing costing too much, and it's not going to be able to budge. Instead, if we move that frame out of the way and replace it with a different frame, or reframe it into a green frame, we call it, into how many people can I help for this to be a reality for me? Whole different thing. How many people can I help to be able, so that they can help me go away to, for me, it was Costa Rica on a conference called Awesomeness Fest at the time. And so I was creating all of these opportunities, helping people, talking to people in a way that I wouldn't usually, creating chances to be able to get people on my programs and other bits and pieces. We ended up having a sold-out detox program because I really needed this influx of cash to be able to go overseas to this conference and then come back and help more people from the things that I learned from there. So yeah, it's really important to reframe the way that you're thinking about things, particularly if they are hindering you from having the life or the business that you're hoping for. Maura, yep, needed that reminder. We need a holiday. I was making excuses about needing to hold on to money. I'm going to go back and create some packages and follow-ups. Absolutely. Awesome. I love a good action taker. Now, this is the really interesting bit that happens at the end of every training Thursday. I set the challenge for action. And often I see about 500 people watch these videos every week, and I get one email, most of the time, to tell me what action was taken and what the result of that action was. That's 1 out of 500. So if you guys are in there actually not taking action and thinking that, oh, this is a nice idea, but that's not for me. It's a nice idea, but I can't afford it. This is a nice idea, but I can't figure out an email. This is a nice idea, but then you're going to be hindering the things that you could possibly create. So instead of the buts, instead of the hard red frames, try it. What action are you going to take that's going to get you to be able to create more value and help more people, and as a side effect, be able to pay for the thing that you're really, really interested in doing for either you or your family or your business? All right. Like I said, hopefully this was beneficial to you or somebody else. And if it has been, please share it. The more that we can get our profession getting the things that they want in their business and their life, the more that we can show up and help even more people. And we are so important in the scheme of natural health and our communities that I really want you to have the life that you want to live. And I really want you to have a thriving business to be able to help so many more people so that you can help yourself and your family as well. All right. If you don't want to miss any of these, you can subscribe on YouTube. You can also check these out on blog posts on my page at tammyguest.com, or of course you can check them out at #TrainingThursday in the Naturepreneur Hub Facebook group. All right, I will catch you guys in the next video next week. See ya.